we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no can weather any storm. Before I sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon. Side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no
do, the smart belt will vibrate like a cell phone to remind you to stop. Give it a go.
Okay. Say, that Derek Medley sure can be a blockhead. Oh, that's incredible.
It is. And because it takes time to build relationships with those around you, if you put yourself under too much pressure and overanalyze everything you say and do, you could feel overwhelmed.
Hoy and welcome to Lunch Therapy. Today is Interview Friday. Today's guest is the hilarious comedian Cynthia Levin. Here's Joel to start the show with something called breathing. It looks fun.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. Today is Interview Friday. I'm up on the slopes, skiing my heart out. Okay, I'm not really, but it's snowing, and we are lucky today to have Cynthia Levin here, one of my favorite comics, also my mentor and just a really great person to give us some insights. She has moved to New York since she's been on the show last time, so we're going to find out what that's all about. If you've never tuned into this show runs Tuesday and Friday at noon Pacific time. It's about therapy. It's about getting to know each other. It's about keeping your mind healthy, your heart happy, and your belly jiggling with laughter. So it's a very interactive show, so feel free to chat. We will periodically take time to check with the chat questions and put them on the screen, so please ask and contribute. And the chat room is called the Hummingbirds, and the preferred greeting on the show is "Hoy." So much for the orientation. We've got some news from our hummingbird community. One of our hummingbirds, Just Jay, she participated in the Top City Funniest in Topeka contest for comedians, stand-up comedy comedian, and she got second place. Pretty damn good. Let's give her a round of applause. Just Jay, so proud of you. She had a great set. It's online on her channel, so check it out. All right, you got this. Lalita is here. So good to see you. Thanks for being here. And also, I just wanted to mention Chuck Goldsmith, because Chuck Goldsmith is a viewer of the show, longtime viewer, and he's been getting out there, been going to the Laugh Factory, getting up on stage. He's been doing it very consistently, and so I just want to give him a round of applause. All right, let's get into this show. This is Lunch Therapy, Interview Friday. I'm going to start the show with the traditional breathing, but then we're also going to just get a little meditation from Cynthia, so that should be cool. Here we go, Interview Friday, Cynthia Levin. Yay, Cynthia! It's good to see you. Welcome to Lunch Therapy.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. So first we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. So here we go. I'm trying not to talk during the breaths. Just breathe. So in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. And then let it go. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. One more time. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. And let it go. Very nice. So now if you would lead us off in a meditation, I would greatly appreciate it.
Sure. So close your eyes if you haven't gotten them closed yet. I'll close mine too.
Okay.
And I always like to start with just feeling a warm sun. Just feel the warm sun on your head. And feel it on your shoulders, and feel it on your wrists and your hands and your knees and your thighs, going down to your shins and your feet and your toes, and just feel the warmth of the sun. And picture a perfectly clear blue sky. Just a perfectly clear blue sky. And in that perfect stillness and warmth and clarity, you can visualize whatever you want. You have already created what you have in your life right now. So you don't have to think about it anymore. It's already here. But what do you want to create in your life? And in this clarity and in this stillness and in this warmth of the sun, visualize what you would love to have in your life. See yourself doing the thing you really would love to be doing, surrounded by energy that feels good to you, that feels supportive to you, that feels respectful of you, that feels needed by you and needed by them. Visualize yourself doing that thing that would bring you joy. And who you're around. And what you're doing. And how good does that feel? Expect to have what you want in your life. Expect it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to plead for it. Expect it. The reason you have that desire is because it's there for you. Expect it and trust that it's coming. And let yourself feel that. And then just take a deep breath in your nose and out your mouth when you have a nice warm visual of that. Put a smile on your face, knowing it is coming, that it is here for you, and open your eyes whenever you're ready. And here you go. I'm getting that phone call, Joel.
All right. I'm going to play a clip. Cynthia.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Cynthia acting. Hold on
Hi.
here.
I'm from Chicago.
That's enough.
Fantastic. It is.
You know LaSalle Street?
I do.
Say no.
Really?
Say no.
Wabash?
No. Yes.
My kind of town, Chicago. That's it. Who sang that? Frank? Was it Frank who sang
Skinner.
Yes.
it? No. You are a comedian.
Hey.
I like that. No, you know.
I don't want to have sex with you. I just want to say that right off the bat. No, Chicago.
Yeah, so that's Cynthia in a film that she did. I don't know what it is. She's going to tell us. But right now she had to take this phone call because she is getting a new apartment, and it's like in New York, it's the craziest thing to try and get a dwelling that you can dwell in. And so she said that she was probably going to get a phone call. And of course it happened right during the show, which is great because I've got another clip here of her as an agent.
The writer is a fucking genius, Martin Olson. He's a hot man. And I'm telling you that this book was meant, the words need to be coming out of an actor's mouth. Listen, or I'm going to read you a little excerpt. Okay. I, Satan, shall then arrive in a hellcraft of fire upon wheels within wheels, and through acoustic mind transmissions interrupting all primetime television, internet broadcasts, and social networking sites, announce to all of them, that as of that instant, all of mankind is now the official property and chattel of hell. Do you see it? Do you feel that? Thank you. Hello? Yes, Mom.
All right. Nice. Woo!
Yes, we need fake applause. We need
Yeah.
something.
What was that? What were we watching there?
That last bit was
Yeah.
Martin Olson. I don't know if you know Martin Olson, but he's a writer and a musician and a really lovely person and friend. And he wrote a book called, oh my God, what the hell is it called? It's called, oh my God, what did I just say? Something of hell. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, 3 hours of sleep. But anyway, But he's actually a brilliant writer, and
Yeah.
he kind of turns upside down the world, and he makes hell actual planet Earth, and it's vice versa. And he
Nice.
believes in all darkness. And basically, we did that to sell his book. And so, me and some other comedians, much more successful than myself,
Yeah.
made these little videos for him. And
That's fun.
yeah, so yeah.
That's cool. Now the other one with you on a bus. What was that one?
That was from when I was living in London. And what was it called? Oh my God.
Night bus.
This is
Night bus?
Night bus, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually ended up,
Oh, now there's laughter.
now that's creepy. It ended up winning a bunch of awards and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool and super fun. And it was basically, about little vignettes of people on the night bus in London.
That's super funny.
Yeah. And but the director passed away, unfortunately. But it was his
Oh.
last best thing that he ever did, and thank God he won a bunch of awards for it and got to feel celebrated.
Yeah. I'm glad too. Now, okay, so that's one of the things I want to ask you about. So, since I've known you, you've lived in London, you've lived in Los Angeles, you've lived in Chicago, you've lived in New York. Can you tell us what it's like to be a comedian? What the different places are like? Are the audiences different? Are the comedians different? I know it's a lot.
No, yeah. So every place is completely different, and not to say that one type of comic wouldn't work in every place. They would, and they do. It's just that they are different. So, like, let's just start with Chicago because that's where I'm from. Although I never did it there until I moved back there from 2000. I mean, that's not true. I would go back and do shows, but in terms of just, I lived there from 2010 to 2012 again, and I did stand up there. And they're much younger, the comics. They're like, 11 and 12 years old. I'm just kidding, but they're young. And they're young. And compared to who's that?
I don't know. There's some weird audience here tonight. Boney, come on now. Don't overdo it.
Yeah, please, Bonet. Anyway, don't embarrass me. So anyway, but so they were very young, and it's a very young, like all the performers are young. I mean, it's like people that study or at Second City, they're all pretty young.
Yeah.
But and then they leave there, and then they move to Los Angeles or New York, from there. But they were lovely and super duper talented, and it's a great place to do stand up. It's a very creative town. And in terms of audiences, they're a little bit more conservative there in Chicago. They're a little more conservative. It's kind of surprising. Like, you don't think that if I grew up there and it's this big city.
Yeah.
But it's more of a Midwestern mentality. And then when you go, then I went to London from there. And London is also, I loved performing in London. I felt like the audiences were interested in seeing an American perform. I know some people like hate America. You go to certain clubs and they're like, get the fuck out. But for the most part, they were excited because I'm more of an emotional performer. Like, I let emotion carry my material because that's what drives me to write it in the first place. So that's also how I must perform it. Otherwise, it's not going to translate as well. Most of it, not all of it. So. And so I think they appreciated the vulnerability and the kind of like, it was very truthful, I'm a very honest performer as well. And
Would you say that's a big contrast to their comedy?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very much the writers there. And they're wonderful writers. They're not as much of performers as maybe, I don't even want to pull out any names from here, but let's just say myself. No, I'm just kidding, but I'm more physical. I'm a physical performer. I'm an emotional performer. I like to say them sentence tellers. They're really good at writing and so their delivery is different. But they're also, the other thing about the stand-ups there is that they treat it like a business. It's not like they're there. Like us, we're like, let's just go out and go to an open mic and maybe get a beer. They're like, they've got a briefcase, a suit.
Really?
All buttoned up. They don't barely talk to anybody. They're like, oh yeah, this is business, and they also get paid for it. Now they don't get paid well. Don't get me crazy, but but they get, because they treat it like a job, like they do acting business out there. They don't they're not trying to be stars or movie stars. They don't look at it that way. They're looking at it as work. This is what I do for work, and they take it seriously, and they're respected for it. So that's a totally different culture. And the comics themselves, as I say, they're they I think for the most part take themselves pretty seriously. Which I find humorous in a lot of times, but they're really good too. So you know what I mean, like, good for them. I had much to learn, trust me. Don't get me wrong. But but I kind of went there like wanting to do better, meaning wanting to prepare more, wanting to write more, and I did end up doing that. Now I'm not saying I necessarily. I mean, it paid off here and there, but yeah. So anyway, and then NYC, Manhattan. Completely. I feel like it's different here too. There's a mixture of everything, I'd say here. In LA, it's a little bit more like creative and alternative, and there's a lot of that. And then there's also aggressive comedy because comics are coming from all over the world to perform there. And then in New York, there's it's very much in your face, and they have to try to get a reaction out of you, kind of like they go for the jugular. And so there's a lot of comics that will do a lot of audience work, and the audiences dig it though, and that's cool. But it doesn't necessarily. It's not like super smart. All of it, what I mean. Some of it is, and there's other comics who are tremendous writers, and who are not trying to go for the audience work and the jugular. They're just doing wonderful, funny material. So I feel like New York sort of has more of a plethora of everything, but more in your face than LA for sure.
Now you also have been teaching people in these different areas, right? I mean, you're teaching people in New York, London, everywhere, right? Do you find that they have different obstacles to becoming great performers?
I feel like the Brits did, but I feel like they loved tapping into their physicality and their sort of their childlike self. I think they really appreciated that, and they definitely dove right into it. They're very open. They really are. They're super duper open. The audiences, the comedians are very open. The ones I worked with, they're just amazing because they were like, "Yeah, show me. I don't know everything. Show me." And of course, when you get to LA, people are like, "I know everything. What time is it? Why haven't I made it yet?" And like, "Why are you talking to me?" I can't believe it. You can't believe it. And I think in New York, I think there's a little bit of resistance, and this, I know this, but you can help me with that. Like there's like a little bit of, I don't
like a chip on your shoulder kind of thing, where like I already got it.
A little bit, but then when we start to work, they're like, oh my God, there's so much here, and and it's exciting. Like I've been teaching them acting here as well, and I teach acting right now just to comics. On my own business, I also teach for a studio that's
good.
Everybody,
It's good.
And it's cool because my whole thing is that I've always worked. I used to only teach to stand-ups years ago when I first started teaching, my own business, and because comics have to be tough, they have to. There's not a lot of vulnerability in stand-up, meaning we have to be a little bit machismo. We have to have our walls up and that kind of thing, and there's a lot of ego involved. But if you can kind of get in touch with your vulnerability and get your ego to move out of the way, you can then be more of yourself, meaning you'll be able to tap into more parts of yourself, and performing will be a lot more fun and a lot easier for you because you won't be shoving down parts of yourself in order to entertain. You'll be able to access those parts and kind of flow in and out, and that to me is really what I'm after. I want people to be happy. Like that's really that's what I care about. Bottom line, be happy. So how do we do that? By being more of ourselves, and feel freer, not apologetic for who we are, and not, and allowing more of you to show up and know that it's great.
Yeah. One of the things that I really appreciate about you too is you allow people to kind of organically come up with material. A lot of times you'll have people just get up to the microphone, just start talking. Maybe you'll ask them a question like, tell me something that really pisses you off, or tell me, something that you love. And then you really encourage people to just kind of let it come out and then shape it as afterwards. Is that kind of your philosophy about writing comedy? Can you explain more?
Yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, I feel like I have a little bit of intuition, or I've been told I'm like a bit of an empath, and so and I only say that in the sense that not all the time, but most of the time I could find a good question for the right for a person that speaks to, even if I've never met them before, I intuitively know what to ask them, and then I just because I'm interested in kind of poking at that particular person's shit, which is where the humor is, So that's what I'm after, and so it is down to the question. The questions, and I think in life are the most important things that we can do is have more and more keep asking questions, you know,
Yeah.
of ourselves, of other people. Questions are brilliant. So, and it's about the better, there's better questions than others, you know. So
Do
yeah.
you find people that are not as willing to, because you're very personal about your teaching of comedy, very personal. You want people to get very personal, very specific about the frustrations in life and things that are going on in their lives. Do you find that people are resistant to that, or do you try and find students that are more open to that? What do you do to kind of break through to people so that they can find themselves?
Well, you know, I mean, it really happens, as far as I can tell, very quickly. I mean, I think that people, you know, when you can start laughing, people relax. I mean, so like you ask him a question, you don't take it too seriously. Like I was working with a kid last night, and you know, he's got like a lot of physical, like he's had like all these operations and shit. He's like 11 years old, you know, and he's like already been through fucking hell, you know.
No, yeah.
And so, but I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and go, have you tried stretching? Well, oh, that's terrible. What does your doctor say? Like, I'm not going to go there. That's not where I'm not there for that. You know what I mean? I'm there to like find the humor in living with this at this age when you thought everything was in front of you. If you finally, you know, you come out to New York where you thought you'd be Bukowski drinking every night and, you know, partying it up and hooking up and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I have to quit drinking. It hurts my back. And you know what I mean? And you're like, you know what I mean? And you're still literally not even 20. Do you know what I mean? So like, So I mean, fine. That, I guess, I don't even know what I'm saying, but like, this person could be treated as something that it's very sensitive to them and you know, and horrible. But then if you find the humor in it, which there's so much humor, that is literally how we survive all of our difficulties in life, I think. So it's a gift, you know, that we.
You think that basically humor is a tool for us to get through painful things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And also to step outside of it.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times, like let's say you were walking around the world and instead of being inside of every experience, you sort of stepped outside of it and and used a camera and just started taking pictures of, you know, where you are instead of, you know, of other people, of what you're seeing, of, you know, scenarios and whatever. All of a sudden you're no longer this like affected human being, but now you're like more like you can view it from the outside and have a different perspective on it and appreciate it for what it is. And I feel like as a comic, we do that. We do it without a camera, though. We do it with our how we view things, and then we tell story about it, and it takes us out of the pain of it and into the humor.
It's funny because that's sort of what meditation does in a way, is removes you from the situation a little bit. You close your eyes, you don't move, and you kind of look at your thoughts that way. Yeah. And you kind of observe them more as an observer than as a participant. And comedy sometimes can do that as well, right? It's interesting.
Yeah, that's a great parallel. Exactly. Yeah.
So do you think being a comedian can be therapeutic? Because sometimes, you know, sometimes comedians are just a wreck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're a wreck, but they also could be a lot worse. And comedy really saves those bastards' lives. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I mean, I always say comedy saved my life. You know, I was going through, you know, I was a schmuck and I was going through hell, but not literally, I wasn't a bad person, but I was going through a difficult time. And when I found stand-up, it was totally by accident. It literally saved my life. Like I'd cry all day long and I'd be like, oh my God, what time is it? I got to get dressed. You know, what do I wear? You know, go from
it forces you to get out there.
Yeah.
Who was your first teacher? Who was Judy Carter? She was. Mm-hmm. And what was her technique?
Her technique was, I mean, as far as I remember, it was
it was a long time ago, right?
I actually thought I was going to an acting class. I didn't even know I was going to a stand-up class. So, I mean, you can imagine what a goofball I was.
You thought you were going to an acting class. Yeah. You thought you were going to an acting class. You got the beret and a scarf. I remember you saying this. Yeah, exactly. And you show up there.
Yeah, I didn't wear the beret. I basically was wearing leg warmers or, you know, danskin wrap skirt and barrettes in my hair. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But, you know, basically. And because I was dating a guy who had money, and he's like, you should take this class. I think you'd really like it. My brother took it, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't ask him what it was. I was just like, okay, you know. Yeah. So, and he put the down payment on it. So, like, what am I going to do? Say no? I mean, of course I'll go. So I go there, and this outfit, I really wasn't, but I may as well have been. And I thought, and all of a sudden it's a stand-up class, and I'm like, you know, and I'd never thought of doing stand-up before. I had done Second City already from the time I was 15, but it never crossed stand-up. had it cross my mind. I was in an audience a couple of times, and got laughs and stuff at places. So I think there was we get signs in our life, right, to go do something. I got several signs to do stand up in my life prior to ever actually doing it, and so and it was really interesting. And when you go through life thinking you don't deserve anything, and then you realize that somebody's talking to you from somewhere about something that might be good for you, you're kind of like, what? Who is that?
Yeah.
What's going on around here? Sure, I'll do it. But anyway, yeah. So, I forget what I was saying. But anyway,
did you have no aspirations at the time to be a comedian? Obviously, not to be a comedian, but what were you going for? No. Like you went to Second City. You were going for acting. You want to be a movie star
since I was 4 years old.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I was 4 years old. I had I was gonna be a movie star, and you think you just have the desire. You think, what time is it? It's gonna happen any minute. You don't realize that life is gonna get in the way of everything you've ever wanted. You're like,
right. But you also realize that life is the thing that feeds all of this other stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes,
if you want to be freaking sensible about it and therapeutic and spiritual, sure. But
I mean, if you're not having life, then you can't really portray it on a screen, right?
Well, right, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Life.
That's so true. Yeah. Oh shit, this guy's called me again.
Okay, I'm gonna play a clip of you doing some really interesting act out here. So go ahead.
Okay.
But I've been single for quite some time, and I was just thinking about it, though. I mean, can you imagine living back in the day when it was so difficult to meet people? Do you know what I'm saying? Right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those movies back in the 1800s? Have you seen those films? Right? What form of communication did they have back then? Anybody? Form of communication? Letters. That's it. Can you imagine? Right? Right? Going out, right? This woman, she's home alone in her flat for years and years. Just brushing her hair for years and years. And then years go by, and finally she gets invited to a ball, and she gets all excited and ready for the ball. Tighter, Claire, tighter! And then she goes to the ball. She sees the man of her dreams. And she goes home, all excited, and she writes him a letter. Dearest Jonathan, I saw you at the ball, and I found you most delightful. And I was wondering what you thought of me. Sincerely, Priscilla Cranberry. January 1804. And now all I do is wait. Dearest Jonathan, it is me again. Summer has come and winter has gone again. Please write me back and tell me what you thought of me, sincerely, Priscilla Cranberry. May 1889. No, I'm fine, thank you. A telegram for me. Yes, oh, thank you so much. You too. Dearest Priscilla, it is I, Jonathan. I saw you at the ball and I enjoyed your merits as well. But at this time, I think I need more time. January 1905.
Hi, Guy Fly. How is your eye? I'm going to get myself a modem. Hoy, 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 that's fun to say. I like this show Joel Marshall's Lunch Therapy. I feel better when I watch it. You should too.
I remember her friend Barbara came to the door and she opened up the door and she...
Cynthia, and we'll watch that
sorry.
later. All right, yay!
We don't need any more.
She's back.
I don't think I've been back. I was like, oh my God, when is this taking?
I was trying to, I was trying to watch you in the little the green room there with Boney, you know, on your phone and all that stuff. And Boney kept distracting you, and I just thought, I don't know. Then you guys got in that argument, and so I didn't know whether you were ready or not.
Yeah,
Stop giving her a hard time. Yeah. Jeez. And then his arm fell off. That was terrible. That was not your fault. That was not your fault.
That's right. He's in pieces now.
Yeah. So that
was
it's
a really
great.
long bit. I don't even remember. I mean, I didn't know that I put that bit up online. I wish I hadn't. But anyway, go on.
Come on, it's hilarious. But anyway, it gave us some good time for you to deal with your phone call.
Yeah.
But there's it's a great act out, and I really enjoy it. You know, I really enjoy how you commit. That's something that I think you try and get me to do more, is to try and commit to acting out things. And I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. You know.
Oh, but when you do, man, is it hilarious? Hilarious. No, really, hilarious. Yeah.
So weird, though, how I have a resistance to that, and I'm an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just weird because I compartmentalize things. But also, you're trying to like simplify, you know, this character and that character, and you kind of have to, you know, do a thing. And I'm like, anyway, I'm still working on it.
I know, and well, I think, you know, sometimes we have resistance because we have an idea what stand-up is, and so then we kind of go, I don't want to be that kind of stand-up. I want to be taken seriously. I want to be known as a really good writer, and so then people go, I'm not going to move around. I'm just going to use my mouth, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes we don't even know why we have resistance towards things, but you know, and of course, with me, it does come a little bit more organically, you know, it does, but it comes organically to you when you're acting for some reason that when you're doing stand-up, you think, oh, no, that can't be right.
right, that can't be right. I got to be like George Carlin, George Carlin acts out too, of course, but I got to be like a really smart guy that says really insightful things or whatever. Yeah, you're right.
Right. And so you maybe you're putting, you know, words on a pedestal and you're taking, you know, the physicality and throwing it into the ditch, you know.
Yeah, right.
It's good to have a little bit of both, but yeah.
I'm gonna keep working on it. So how has it been in New York? Like, how's it been for you besides like having to find another place to live and that kind of stuff?
Well, it's been interesting, and that's who's been getting in touch with me, is this guy who's willing to look through my crap in order to kind of go, will this woman pay her rent? You know what I mean? Literally, you're 100 years old and you're going, excuse me, I need a guarantor. If you don't mind, do it. Just give them every little bit of information you have on your life. No big deal. You know, and it's nuts, man. And, you know, it really is. And it's really gotten bad here. And I don't want to get into the negative, but it's really, it's scary. But the one good thing I'll tell you, since I've been in New York, the cool thing is that that Priscilla Cranberry bit. So I moved back here last year, or for beginning of February last year. And a friend of mine, Patrick Tretanero, who is a producer and a director out here in New York, we're walking down the street. Maybe I'd been here 2-3 weeks tops. We were walking down the street. He goes, you know that 1800s woman bit you do? And I go, yeah. He goes, you know, I've always wanted to direct you in it. And
really?
You know, make a movie out of it.
Yeah.
Like, so have I, you know. Me too. So anyway, so he so we make a plan. He's like, I'll pay you to, you know, we're gonna do this. So I wrote the script, and my friend Kate, who's British in London, she helped me write it, and it's called the Relentless Patience of Priscilla Cranberry.
Oh my God, it's so great that we showed that clip. What misfortune is that?
It's really random, and I didn't even know that a clip was online, so that I can move, you know. But it's like a mini feature. It's 30 minutes, you know. It's a mini feature, and it's really, really good. And I would not. I'm nobody who's ever like gone, hey, have you seen my show? Hey, did you see that thing I did? Like, I don't do that because I don't like anything, you know. But this is the best thing ever that I've ever touched. And,
it's so great.
So it was me and my friend Shecky Beagleman played Claire, my lady's maid.
Yeah.
So it's just the two of us, and we shot it in upstate New York in a beautiful Victorian house that was immaculate, right? And my
Yeah.
and Patrick lived near. Anyway, point is that I've got this film now, and we're just finishing the color correction, and it's going to be in festivals and stuff. But my friend Shecky unfortunately passed away.
I know. I was just realizing that right now when you said that. I'm so sorry about that. But at least you know, you guys got to do this together.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
but
beautiful.
She's great in it, and so I was grateful to work with her. But yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing.
I look forward to seeing that. So that's something I want to talk to you about. So you said that
it seems like everything I do, the person I work with passes away.
I got this project. Oh wait, forget it.
Hey, I wrote something else. You're interested?
Maybe Boney's interested. He's already dead. So one of the things I wanted to say is that you said that you're never like saying like the thing that I did is the greatest thing. I mean, you are now, but what do you do about that inner critic? Like, how do you tame that inner critic that goes on?
Yeah. So, part of having a better life, and also in getting the things that you actually really want to have in your life, is having positive thoughts about those things and about yourself, and just in general feeling good, just literally feeling good, so that those things, that the way you want to feel in the future, by having those things, actually you're feeling it already, and they'll float right to you. If you're pissed off, you think all this negative stuff, it bounces off of you. You don't even get to receive it because you think, I don't deserve anything anyway. So why would you get it? You know what I mean? It's just sort of like you're stopping it before it can arrive. It's like slamming the door in the face constantly. Oh yeah, right. Hey God, I really wish Bob would show up. Oh, sure you will, Bob. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, so it's like, well, if you're going to slam the door in the face of all your desires, pretty much you're not going to have any of them, And I'm telling you, I'm testament to that. So, what I mean? No, I'm kidding. It's changing now. But
how did you turn that around mentally, though? How did you go about it?
Really long. It's a process, and it's something that we have to do. All of us have to do on a regular basis, because life does show up, and life can be difficult, and life can be scary, and life can be upsetting, and all sorts of of things. And so you have to just kind of reach for the better feeling thought and the better feeling action, and literally like feel ourselves into our life, into the life that you want. You feel yourself into it. Literally, you feel your way into it. You go, what's a better thought? Of course, sometimes you're going to be crying. So fucking cry. Like, acknowledge feeling, let yourself feel it, and then go, okay, what can I do now to move forward? What would be fun for me right now? What's a good thought? And literally, and it is that, and sometimes we'll get caught up, like me looking for this apartment. I've never been so confronted in my life. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, look, didn't anybody tell you? You're a big fat loser. What didn't you? I
hate that. There's some things. Some things where that it really brings that out. Like you're an independent contractor, and you have to prove your income, and that becomes super difficult. And then also, or maybe it doesn't for you because it's super easy, because but I didn't want to say it was super difficult. That's right. But or like somebody goes, write a bio, and you're like, I hate to write a bio. There's certain things that kind of bring that up, and you want to be able to get through them. And
yes, we must have the same things that
right. Do you have any kind of like process that you go to? Like if you feel you're feeling that way, maybe you go for a walk, maybe you go skiing, maybe I don't know, what do you do?
All sorts of things. Literally, you do the easiest thing that you can do. Literally, what's the easiest thing that's right there? Don't try to go skiing if you live in Manhattan. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't do that because it's like a little bit too big of a reach. You can sit there in Fantasyland if you want.
You give yourself more problems.
You actually, exactly. Yeah. But what can you do that's right here that's easy for you? And so like during COVID, it was taking a walk and being in the sun and looking at flowers, or going to the beach, even though that was a big pain in the ass. It was worth it some of the time. I'm not really into the ocean, but I've tried. I pretended,
Yeah.
But just little things like that. Like, and for me, I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say though. The thing that I've been doing, that's been beneficial.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was.
Happens.
What I do. That makes me feel good.
It's always good. It's always good. Do you find?
I tell myself this. So this is the thing I'll say. Sorry. I say everything is always working out for me.
Yeah. You say that. You just
I
say
say
it.
it all the time. I say it all the time. And right now, and I look for signs of like being on the right path. I also ask my angels to help me, you know, and it did. I mean, it really worked. I mean, yesterday I was like, angels, got to help me right now.
Yeah.
I got to get an apartment and I really need your help right now. And then I ended up being the first person to go see a place in the pouring rain. And I was, you know, you just don't know, you know, and it's not like you can just grab and get in your car and drive around. You're like in the middle of Manhattan. And
Right.
if you want to fucking take a piss, you got to go eat somewhere too, even if you're not hungry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's not simple, you know? So, but you have to keep finding ways to feel good and ways of taking care of yourself that you don't, so you make better choices, you know, and you don't just do impulsive action, you know, but that you take inspired action, you know, and so that you're not wasting your time, you know. And so the last thing I was going to say though is that I was like reading something, you know, Viola Davis, right?
Yeah.
And she's the actress, and so she always posts on Instagram all these positive things. You know, if you follow her, she's just lovely. You
Really?
know?
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, she's just lovely. And so she shared something like a bunch of like little cards, you know, one after the other, flipped through, and you know these positive things, you know. And on one of the cards it said, "I'm on a lucky streak." And when I read that, it really resonated with me. And one of her questions was, "Which one of these resonates with you?" And I wrote back and I said, "Not." You know, I'm sure she read it after she read the other 7,000 responses. But anyway, but that I said, I said, I'm on a lucky streak because lucky things did happen. Like, I can't even remember, but like, little things. Like, lucky streak could be just like one of the things. I went to Walgreens / whatever the hell they call it, Dwayne Reed here, and I had $4 on my as a you know, like I was owed $4. I had it on my bonus or whatever it was, you know. So I didn't even have to. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Right. You got to acknowledge the little things, right?
No, but it's true. The night before that, I was coming home from a show.
Yeah.
I was hungry, and I was going to get a piece of pizza, right? Because I hadn't eaten for hours and hours. And so I went to get a piece of pizza, and they were closing. And I said, "Oh, you're closed," because there was like obviously nothing on the racks anymore. I go, "Oh, you're closed." And he's like, "Well," the guy's like, "Well," and I'm like, "What's happening? What, you know, you got something?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I go, "I just want a piece of cheese pizza." And so then they had a box of like 5 different kinds of slices inside of a box.
Yeah.
And so they gave me the whole thing for the price of a piece of pizza.
What?
So I walked out of there with 5 giant pieces of pizza with stuff on them. You know?
No way. No, I agree with you. I totally see what you're saying. You have to be like, yes.
Yes. And so
like, I'm so lucky.
Pay attention, to be grateful, and to, I am lucky, and I felt lucky. When people are nice to me, when I'm out in the day, when we feel like we don't deserve stuff, which we feel like when you're confronted, trying like whatever, like even like being in a neighborhood where people have money and you don't, and you know, like you feel like every homeless person feels on a regular basis. I tend to kind of relate to that feeling a lot for whatever reason. I just said, you know, I deserve to be here. I deserve to, you know, whatever. I'm not, you know, I'm a good person, you know, whatever. And then the people just started being nice to me. Like everywhere I went, they weren't treating me like the person I felt like I assumed I looked like, or you know, whatever, or you know. So it's a very interesting thing. And then but then I did be that person. I go, it was the right apartment. I mean, you know, it was right as you can get with, you know, under the circumstances. But it's great. I wanted to be in the Upper West Side, blah, blah. And I still don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's going to say, "Listen, you can go fuck yourself." Do you know what I mean? He'll say it gently, but you know, he might, you know, but it doesn't matter. Like there was a yes in that. Yes, this is the right apartment. Yes. Okay, you're the first person. Let's go fill this stuff out. Here you go. There you go. And you go. And we are in the process. And thank God, you know. Lastly, I got to go in the middle of trying to write all, like, you know, you have to write your application, and then you're like sending in stuff, and you're like, oh my God, I got to call. Oh my God. And then you go all set, and you're so tired. You've been out for 11 hours or, you know, 11 hours. And then, and then I get a text from the woman who's producing my TV series, Unprepared for Life, right? She says, oh my God, we have some woman, you know, a manager of this, you know, I'm not going to say her name right now, but like this, you know, this woman who wrote one of the top shows on television. And she wants to read your script. So And we need everything by tomorrow morning.
Of
and guess
courh.
Who else needed everything by tomorrow morning?
They did too.
So I was like, oh my God, sure. Everybody got it. You got it, and it's literally like, it is critical, It's
Yeah.
like everything is critical.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and so like, so it was like, I was, okay, what do I was like, and you want to go, oh, yeah, but what time do I get to go to bed? I'll go to bed. Then you can't.
No.
You got to do this like right now.
I guess I'll be doing this now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I finally, sent out all the stuff with the right wording and, whatever as good as I can do at 3 a.m. And then,
Wow.
and then I woke up at 7:30. So I had tons of sleep.
Yeah. Feeling
And then
good.
I got a text in the morning. Don't forget, you got to get in this in by 9 a.m. I'm like, So it's like, but again, like,
Yeah.
this is great.
It's
because
great.
You know what?
All these things are great. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And all I want to do, I just want to work. Like, that's really what I want to do. I
Yeah.
want to get paid for working.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. And
you deserve it too. You deserve it too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So that's, that's where Cindy Lou is at. And let me share one more thing with you. That's a spiritual lesson that I got out of this, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is that I had to ask my mother, for help, meaning like to be a guarantor, like I am 100 and I still had to ask my mother,
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
101,
Right.
And so,
she had you when she was 1 year old.
Exactly. Anyway,
It's incredible.
It's magical. I can't believe I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Anyway.
but anyway, that's her story. No, I'm
That's
kidding.
her
So
thing.
anyway, but like,
Yeah.
what was I going to say?
Oh God.
But the thing is, I thought about it because I didn't want to ask her.
Yeah.
I didn't want
Right.
to ask her. But
Right.
do I want to continue the story of, I had to do it all by myself?
Right. Do you want to
And there's
continue that
nobody
story?
and there's nobody to help me. Does that
Do you
feel
want to
good?
live that story? No.
Right?
Yeah.
Does that story feel good?
No.
Or does the one, thank you for helping
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
I'm so grateful, and giving that person an opportunity to
Yeah.
also help. Like, I love helping people. So
Yeah.
like, why? So asking for help is actually a gift for everybody. And it's something that I feel like I resist and a lot of people resist in this life. And
Me
then we walk
too.
around with our stories of why we don't have this and why we
Yeah.
don't have that.
Yeah. I have a hard time with that too, asking people for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was a really good lesson.
That's a great lesson.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, I think we're going to end the show with we're going to dance. We're going to dance.
You are.
I want, every guest has to dance, even if they're just seated.
Do I have to
Just
stand
seated.
up?
No, you don't have to stand up or anything.
Would you prefer it?
If you want to, this is all, up to you. It's going to be really like fun. This guy, Mike Massey, he is a performer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just want to say that music you played at the top of the show, I loved so much.
Isn't
It's
that
so beautiful.
nice? I love it too.
Who is that?
His name is Cody. I wish I had the name on. Let me tell
But
you
he's not
right now.
somebody you know personally?
No, I mean, the music is licensed, and I found it, through this licensing service for music, and I've just loved the song. The guy's very popular, and just a sec. I'm going to tell.
Okay.
I'm going to take the moment. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to tell you. His name is Cody Francis. Wonderful performer, and yeah, I really think it's a good song for the show too. Your frames are awesome, Cynthia, says Matt Wright. Likes your
thanks,
glasses.
Matt Wright.
He likes your glasses.
That's his takeaway from everything that's come out of my mouth.
That's right. No, he said some deep shit earlier.
Did he?
He
did?
said,
How come I
yeah.
can't see it?
Well, he said this. He said,
I was looking. Oh God, I didn't see all this. Okay.
yeah, there's been tons of stuff. I 100% believe that the path of least resistance is so powerful. He said, I trick myself into fitness by wearing a weighted backpack when I go for walks. I love to walk and barely notice the weight. Path of least resistance.
That's great. Agreed. 100%.
Yeah. So we're gonna dance. Mike. Okay, I want to tell you about Mike Massey. He was on the show. as a guest, but he played guitar in a pizza joint. He was a lawyer, but he really wanted to do music. So
Well, they won't let him find an apartment, by the way.
Right.
They don't like lawyers. They're like,
really?
have you known or anybody who's
They don't
known
like
anybody
lawyers?
who knew anybody who used to do law? Because we will not get
because
sued
they're
by
afraid they're
you
going to
or
get
anybody
sued.
who knows
That's it.
anybody who
Oh,
knows.
yeah. So anyway, he's not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer. No,
needs to buy
he
an
was one
apartment.
in Colorado. So he's playing the guitar in this pizza joint, and people are walking in front of the camera and stuff like that. So all of that is on YouTube. He just totally blew up one day because he did a cover from Toto's Out of Africa, and they just, or Africa, I guess it's called. Anyway, he's a professional musician now, tours around. This is one of his pizza renditions of Pinball Wizard. You can sing, you can dance, you do whatever.
Cool,
here we
man.
go.
I love it. I like the
Dance
song.
break time. Thanks so much for being on the show, Cynthia. I'm so glad
Thanks for having me, Joel.
connect
Great
with
to
you
talk
and-
to you.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is it. This is it.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, he's good. Wait till he starts singing. He just looks so serious right now.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. I ain't seen nothing like him in the amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays mean pinball. Stands like a statue, becomes part of the machine. Feeling all the bumpers, always plays clean. Plays by intuition, the digit counters fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays mean pinball. He's a pinball wizard, there has to be a twist. Pinball wizard's got such a supple wrist. How do you think he does it? I don't know what makes him so good. Ain't got no distractions, can't hear no
There goes somebody.
bells. Don't see no lights flashing, plays my sense of smell. Always gets a replay, never tilts it on. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. I was the Valley Table King, but I just handed my pinball crown to him.
Yeah. Out of Africa is a movie, yes.
If you're my favorite table, he can beat my best. Stumbles lead him in, and he just does the rest. Got crazy flipping fingers, never seen him fall. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
Woo!
Yay!
Yay! See y'all. Thanks for being here.